Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Grubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists. It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hi, this is Stacy Barnett from Canine Detection Collaborative, and I am here with my lovely co-host, Robin Grubel.
Hello.
And Crystal Wing.
Howdy.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because, we just always do those little corny hellos, and I love it. And we're here because we're doing a continuation on, if you guys remember, go back to our episodes on Ask a Stupid Question Day back in September. And I do remember, I think I introduced that one as well, because I did say no question is a stupid question. And what we noticed is that there were a few questions that we just didn't get to because
we ran out of time.
They were
good questions.
They were good questions. And we had a lot of questions.
And they were not necessarily stupid, but we had a lot of questions. So this episode is all about answering some of those questions that we just ran out of time and didn't answer.
Ooh, can I ask the first one?
Yeah, go for it.
It's not mine. It was in the list, but still. How do you work an area with residual odor? I like the oomph.
I know.
Okay, first. So what is residual odor?
Residual odor is odor transfer onto a surface after you remove a hide.
So does that mean that there's actual odor there? So like if you have oil, did the oil spill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm speaking about this from nosework. It means that you take the tin off and you put the tin in your little odor kit, and the odor that adhered to the outside of the tin has now transferred to the surface that you took the tin off of. And that odor transfer then creates its own scent cone. So the dogs are detecting that odor, and then they're detecting the residual. So that would be kind of my explanation of it.
And here's a referral to the episode on odor hygiene.
Yes.
So now go listen to that episode on you need to be cleaning up after yourself because your oil transferred to a new surface.
And I just want a little PSA out there, a little public service announcement. If you're one of those individuals that are putting out naked Q-tips in your
Q-tips,
no naked Q-tips,
you need to be hung up by your shoelaces.
Okay. Ooh,
sorry.
Wow. PG, we're still PG.
Yeah.
I was like, we're gonna have to do a lot of edits here.
Yeah, try not to get violent. You need to stop that.
Okay, good.
Stop right now.
Stop in the name of
odor hygiene.
Okay.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it. Sorry. I had a little PSA out there.
And even for, because we run into some of that with cadaver odor as well, and I have seen this on the farm because we'll put cadaver odor out and things melt get a little gooey. And so we also have residual odor problems. And what actually ends up happening is those areas actually come out of my training rotation for about a year.
Yeah.
And the only way they can come back into my training rotation is if we put odor back in that spot.
Yeah.
Which then makes it come back out of the training rotation. Because it all comes back to what lesson are you trying to teach the dog? And unless
What's important.
Yes. And unless you're really trying to teach threshold issues because, the arson dogs are taught a certain threshold, don't go below this because our instrumentation can't go below this particular threshold. So they will put a threshold bottom on the dog, but that's a lot of work for a lot of what we're trying to do. So my actual, how do I work on an area with residual odor? I don't. I put the dog back in the car.
So I do want to just mention it from a practical, because I know some people you have to train in the same place. I get it. So I taught a seminar pretty recently, and we had this really, really cool place where I did my privates. I did like 7 hours of privates, which I have to tell you is exhausting.
Yes.
So 7 hours, so that'd be 7 1-hour time slots, right? And we were in a greenhouse. It was a really awesome place to teach. It really was a closed greenhouse. It was really cool because you can imagine
all sorts of cool
sending conditions. Greenhouse. It was amazing. It was amazing. But I had 7 hours of teaching to do with 7 different, sometimes they were even a couple dogs, but so 7 1-hour lessons. And to do that, I was very careful with my hide placement because I knew once I set a hide down, I burned that area for if I wanted to search without the hide there, right? So what I had to do was kind of nest things, and I had to think about if I put a hide here, can I use, the next dog that comes in, can I use that same hide for that next dog? Or I may have to say, all right, well, this area is kind of done, or maybe I'm not going to put very many hides over in that other area, or maybe I'm going to put a hide on something that I can then move. So you have to think it through. I guess that's my point, is that if you're going to be teaching, or if you're going to be giving a seminar or judging, right? You have to think through your hide placement more than just the current search that you're setting. You have to think it all out and stay organized. And that's really the best way to kind of work through that type of situation.
Yes. And one of the things that works in my world, because I have a plethora of feed bags from all of the critters, I set hides on things that I then take with me out of the area. Mm-hmm. So I know that I'm not leaving anything behind. Yeah. And then it comes down to, okay, guess what's also placed in my search areas later? Clean feed bags. Like feed for the donkeys and the chickens and that
you want to know where my head went? You want to know where my head went?
No.
No.
Does it have to do with Joe?
No, stop. You know those like feed bags you used to put on the horse's head, like a little, like a muzzle, like a feed, like put the food in the.
Not those. But think about it that way. You could also nest your hides in a jar. Mm-hmm. That the outside of the jar is clean. And one of the things that we tend to think about a lot, especially with cadaver source, is what's a clean and what's clean and dirty, or hot and cold. So if you've got a jar and you've touched the jar, the outside of the jar is still cold. You put your odor on the inside of the jar. The inside of the jar now is hot.
Okay.
And then you can put the whole jar out.
I've done that on vehicles.
But it is not that jar.
Yeah.
You
have a buffer.
Yes.
You're talking about a buffer.
Yes.
Yeah. I've done that with vehicles where I did multiple layers of stuff to try to reduce residual
odor transfer. Yeah, absolutely. So working with residual odor is really, unless that is something that you are actually putting out as a training goal, my suggestion is to do the opposite and really, really try and figure out how to manage your odor transfer.
If you're doing sport, don't make it a training goal. I'm sorry. Is that very direct? That's very direct.
We love hate mail. It's great.
I know you can hate me, please. Please don't try to train off of residual in nosework, please. You're just going to really destroy your dog's odor obedience. So please don't do that in our sport.
Here's what I hear for residual odor: just don't.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Just say no.
No, but let me summarize a couple things just to make sure I'm following. If it's a known place, like you know exactly where it happened, maybe it was a mistake. So we're going to say that people now know that they're going to avoid that residual by putting something in its place.
Put all their Q-tips into things.
Yeah, we're no naked Q-tips.
No
You're not going to put things on the surface. You're going to do everything you can to avoid that to begin with because you've listened to odor hygiene now and you're like, oh, girl, I got you. So that's the first step. But you made a mistake. It happens. So for instance, we made a mistake in Robin's, or actually in her husband's shop.
Yes.
And a jar broke. And so that's a place we still have to use. Yeah. So another option there too is to understand variable reinforcement or that partial reinforcement schedule.
Yes.
So knowing that some dogs with that threshold, even weeks later, with an odor that was cleaned, may still go there and say, you know what, guys, it's here.
Yeah.
And because you have that variable reinforcement, you can just go, oh, find another. And it's
Thank you.
Find another. It's good.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So that's what I do in competition because in AKC they will have they'll put blue tape. I'm sorry, blue tape doesn't erase the odor, guys. It just says, hey, there was a hide here. So if your dog goes over and alerts, you know not to call alert. That's all that blue tape does. It doesn't erase odor. None of that, right? It just says,
wait, the odor was there and they put blue tape where it was, like on top of it?
Yeah, they reuse search areas AKC.
Oh.
And it makes it very difficult because there's a lot of odor on a Q-tip in AKC.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in that case, if I were to see blue tape and my dog starts to indicate, first, if my dog starts to source the area, I interrupt it. Hey, good dog. I use a little bit of praise and then
move this way. Yes,
exactly. So I use a little bit of praise because I don't want them to think that it's wrong. But I'm going to use some handling to try to get the dog to disengage from that. It's not ideal. And it is one reason why I pick and choose which trials I go to, because some trial sites are going to be more likely to have that. But if you encounter that, just don't call alert on the blue tape, and it does not get rid of the odor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So avoid it.
Avoid it when you can.
Don't make it your training plan. And if you know where it is, you can adjust by putting something else in that exact same place, being thoughtful about that. And consider using a variable reinforcement. Is that a pretty good summary?
Yep. And buffers.
Beautiful.
I like buffers.
Yes. Sorry. I forgot about your buffers. Thank you.
Buffers. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Excellent. Good answer. Okay. Can I ask the next question too, or do you want to? I asked the first. You
go right ahead. No,
this
you
one's
go
a long
right
one. This is a long one. Okay. Oh, but I don't know how to say one of these words. Okay. ANIS. Tell me how to say it properly.
I think it's just the Danish version of anise, I think.
Okay. And I think it's funny that Danish has anise in it. Do you see that? Did you put a D and an H and you got, anyway.
Yes, Crystal, what's the question?
My dog, not my dog, this person's dog, is a field trained spaniel, is very good at nosework, lavender, eucalyptus, and anise, Danish competition standards. Right now, we are following another program parallel to our nosework training to learn water search on cadaver scent. Okay, can I stop there for a second?
You can, because Robin's going to have a conniption. If you're in the United States, please don't do this.
Why?
But why? Legal issues. So the fact is, she is obviously Danish, and so I have no idea about their laws, and so she is doing this over there. So, or they, I don't know if it's a he or she, they are doing it over there. So we're just going to move on to the next set of the question.
So that was your PSA.
Is there case law on it? Because last time I checked, I didn't know that there was any.
There isn't. That's swimming upstream in the American training philosophy at this moment. So just don't go there.
So again, we have another answer. Just don't. Okay. So back to this field trained spaniel that's very good at nosework, that's now learning water search on cadaver scent.
Okay.
The search area is marked with markers. They're yellow balls, and that's in quotes. They're floating on the surface of the water.
So they are buoys in my planet. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So how large do you think these yellow balls are?
I have no idea. You know what? I'm just going to assume that they're a soccer ball or something of that nature, that the dog is like, oh my God, I must have it.
Yeah. So my dog, you're not going to believe this, is overexcited over these. And the stimulus for these markers seem to overrule all search drive. Could you elaborate on what goes on inside of my dog and what solutions to overcome such distractions might be? I guess that understanding what goes on inside my dog contains the key to create the proper setup for training.
She's absolutely correct.
Yes. And it's a spaniel and it probably looks like a big ball floating out on the water. And oh my God, she wants to play with it. Would be my assumption. So my setup for this particular type of thing would probably be twofold. Is that we would be doing a lot of first, those yellow balls and every other type of ball I can absolutely think of comes off of the water, and we search past them on land. And then you start progressively moving them out onto the water, and you start doing shoreline searches with the balls or the buoys or whatever they are. So they actually become background noise. It's kind of like dogs who, when, my labs and any other time, if you would turn them loose in a theater full of popcorn, they would be hoovering popcorn off the ground.
Yeah.
But when we walk in there and I provide the search cue, nope. Now we go search for odor and the popcorn becomes into the background. Now that doesn't mean that their tongues don't slink out and snag a piece of popcorn, because they do. But so it comes down to impulse control, in my opinion, on the dog, thinking, oh my gosh, I want the yellow balls. So that you can counter that even without odor on put the yellow balls out on land or right on the shore. Can you play with your dog sufficient enough that they won't want the yellow balls? So that's how I would start trying to navigate through. That's really hard. I'd also do boat rides with all sorts of different things floating in the water. Is it actually the yellow balls, or is it just a buoy? Is it a visual fixation of the dog? Because that can be difficult to get past.
Can I do one of my funny stories?
Sure.
Well, it's not real. Well, so apparently my next door neighbor, they play soccer.
Oh, soccer balls.
Yeah, and my fence is not a full privacy. It's a partial privacy. So it's kind of like that in and out fence, right?
Yes.
And they left their soccer ball on the other side of my fence. Prize, one of her favorite toys and powder too. They have like this little, kind of a small green soccer ball that they bite and then they run around and squeak. So now she's obsessing over this white soccer ball on the other side of my fence.
That's hard.
I'm like, honey, not your ball, not your ball.
Not
Although
yours.
after about 2 days now, she's finally figured out she can't get to it, and now she's ignoring it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not yours. I've taught that to somebody, which actually might be an interesting whole concept for this type of a thing. Is that the only way you're going to get that yellow ball is if you ignore it and you work for the yellow ball that I have, which sounds a lot like the bowl game. So maybe we can stick that in the show, a link to the bowl game or something like that in the show notes. And you guys can't see me. I just looked at Crystal because she's like the stellar, awesome person who will write that down and be like,
you should have seen my face like, oh boy, how are we going to write that in a show note?
I didn't know if there's a link to that somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
On that.
Okay. Well, or something. So, but basically, or it's even it's your choice type of thing, which is a Susan Garrett thing.
We're basically everything we're talking about right now is just distraction training.
Yes.
There's this thing called, was it distraction camp? Have you heard about this?
I heard about that. I heard it was incredible.
It's like this magical place in Iowa.
I know.
Go build it, they will come kind of thing.
Yeah, they kept talking about like how incredible it was and how all of a sudden they had like really great. Yeah. Anyway.
Results. Yeah. So we will be having distraction camp again this coming summer here in Iowa. So this falls into a distraction.
Yeah.
And so you work past it like almost any other distraction that you have. You have to pay more than that.
Yeah. So you need to break it down and make it simple. And that's really what training always is. Every distraction is a possible reinforcement. And knowing that and thinking about, Susan Garrett always says, the behaviors your dog does is a reflection of your training. Ouch.
You get what you reinforce. Ouch.
Yeah. So instead of setting them up to avoid a distraction, it's not about avoiding that thing, but it's about teaching this learner how to make decisions. And those decisions are ones that you want to do, the dog that you want in your life. And these things we want them to do are so weird. So weird.
And you have a spaniel, which is processing and thinking at the speed of light.
Yeah. And so we've talked about it before. It's just about effective timing, criteria, rate of reinforcement. That's really what everything is. So if you're making conscious decisions on, like how you want to link your reinforcement and what you're going to time and how you're going to do it, just go back to the basics of rank.
The D.
Start off by ranking. Don't even talk about the D's.
Oh.
Don't even do it.
Go back. Don't
even
back
do it.
Listen to the D's episode, all six of them.
Oh yeah, listen to the episode. It's a good one. I still giggle. That's where we got the danger detection going. No, but think about your distractions. So not only are distractions difficult, but think about what ones are the most difficult for your dog. I know there's another one there. Distraction and difficult. But now also consider the location. So start off in a simple environment, such as your laboratory, with a low-level distraction. And can your dog continue to search there? Because really, when you listen to this question, take out the specifics. What is the overall thing you're asking? It's about when this thing is here, my dog can no longer search because they're overexcited. They're over-aroused. So work on that aspect, and that's going to transfer over to the yellow balls and every other issue you have.
That's
my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. My first 2 cents is take those yellow balls take your dog off the boat, take the yellow balls out of the water.
Yeah, water. You've lumped it together. It's too much.
No,
too much.
No lumping.
Too much. Yeah. Sometimes you can lump, and we call that fast tracking. That was also a Susan thing, which is just genius when that happens. It's so beautiful.
And then you're like, dude, where'd that brilliant dog come from? And then you're like, oh, wow.
And then you have to realize that not every dog is going to learn like that. And then we try to do that on the next dog, and the dog goes, what? And
it doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm.
So back that train up. So take it back, reel it back, and don't panic. This goes back to that growth mindset about failing. It's just information. There's no failing here. There's no, it's just, this was too hard. When your dog has that moment, oh, shucks, that was too hard.
Thank you for the information.
Was it too hard because of that thing there? Was it the location? What was it? So like you said, get inside your dog's head. I love that that's the question you had at the end.
Yes.
Understanding what goes on inside my dog contains the key to create the proper setup for training. Mwah, I love you. Yes, that right there. So you're on the right track. So rank your distractions, rank the distractions within environments, and it changes. Your dog's not the same every day. So keep that in mind and take it all as information.
Beautiful answer.
Be present. Yay. Oh, do I get to ask all the questions today?
Yes.
Sure. Go for it.
Okay, thanks. Next one. How do you, I like this one. How do you keep your classes fresh and fun? Some days I struggle what to put together for the next class setups. I always set a goal and incorporate what my students would like at the beginning of the new 5-week session. Listening to your podcast has definitely helped. Aw,
thank you.
Yay. I draw on my own experiences as well. Oh, you draw. I like it. But I feel at some point during the middle of the session, I become uninspired. This is my fun side gig.
Okay. So this can actually be really, really challenging because when you're, one of the things I learned from Crystal this summer was think about your 5-week session as a storyline or a training arc. What do you want the students by the end of the session to get? So there's some of that. Because then it might allow you to split your classes out a little bit and figure out, well, okay, we're doing this. Now, one of the other things that we do, because you can get so wrapped up into a routine. There is an app that you can download on your phone, and it's called Tiny Decisions. And basically it allows you to set up all of these little wheels, think Wheel of Fortune type of stuff, that you label all of the wheels, we're going to do high hides.
Big money.
All of these different options. We're going to, work on low hides. We're going to work on clove. We're going to work on buried, all of these different things. And you can spin it and it will come up. It's basically a random number generator. So it just comes up and says, well, you're going to set 5 high clove hides or something like that. Sorry.
Yeah,
I know.
that sounds horrible.
She's like, yeah, don't do that.
You don't do that.
Yeah. So,
I wish we do this on Zoom, and sometimes I wish that we would actually share these because Stacy's face right there.
I just switched up and don't.
We need to learn how to screenshot this or something, and then just share these screenshots because that was
classic.
money.
She's like, oh my God, don't do that.
5 elevated clove.
Yeah, she's like, no,
don't just.
That's
Right.
the same response she gives when you talk about cadaver melting. That was
the same one. Yeah.
It was almost a little more dramatic.
So so Tiny Decisions is one of those things. And the interesting thing is you can
be thoughtful about your tiny decisions. Make a tiny one, but keep it tiny. Keep it tiny. Tiny.
And be good with your odor.
Tiny.
And you can weight them. So, we do a lot of wilderness work in the cadaver dog world or whatever, or I know that, I'm getting ready. We do a lot of vehicle work for the narcotics and bomb dogs. So I can weight that as you spin it. And so that will come up more often because you teach your dogs do what we train them to do. And so that Tiny Decisions is sort of thing. And then I will be perfectly honest. I go out and watch people's Facebook stuff and steal stuff from them.
You know what I do? I get an idea, right? So I'll be teaching, and it's interesting that when I'm teaching one thing, all of a sudden it sparks an idea, and then I kind of riff off of that. And I'm sure you guys do the same thing. It's like you see something like, oh, this is what we need to work on because this is hard, right? Or this is where people are struggling, and it just kind of it gets some of that thought going. And I find that teaching creates some of that. And then what I do is I'm like, well, you know what? This week we're working on whatever, Of course, with me, all of my lectures have to be pre-written. Of course, they're usually new classes. They're pre-written in a very short amount of time right before the class goes live.
Well, and it's really interesting because as you're talking about writing classes, and even as training, right? You've got these people for these 5 weeks or whatever. It's really hard to come up with new ways to teach the same information.
Yeah.
And so it comes down to one of the things that you may challenge your students to do is actually ask them to give a theme for a training session. What theme would you like to see?
Yeah.
So that helps relieve some of the pressure on you and or have them all write down themes or something or things, put them in a hat, and you can draw them out and address them throughout the training sessions.
And what I do to plan my classes anyway, I kind of think of it as a tree. So I have an overarching theme, and then I drop the little subcategories off of that. And those subcategories will be like a theme for each week. And then the creativity is actually in how am I going to execute on teaching that theme each week. And, and that's where anyway.
Yeah, I was going to kind of go on that route. So Stacy, you covered that. So maybe I'll give you some out of the box thoughts. Being a high school art teacher, maybe there's some things here you could use.
Oh yeah. You're the pro in the lesson planning. Yeah. You're kind of.
So in Mondio Ring, I'm always kind of, there really doesn't have to be anything on the field. And all of a sudden we're laughing and doing this entire skit of just, there was a stick and that's all it takes. So all of a sudden we're on an alien ship and we're, going through whatever. So
that's right, because it's Mandio. Yeah.
So one of the things you can do is truly look up Mandio ring. There are so many really cool themes and ideas and movement. And I know maybe you're like, whoa, how is that even connected? But I'm going to relate it to Jake Parker. And he's an illustrator, and he's the founder of Inktober, or the creator of it. And it's going on all of October, where artists all over the world are drawing every day because of him, inspiration. And there's a theme every day. There's a word that everybody follows. And if one artist can inspire an entire world of artists to create, I think that's a good dude to follow. And one of his things is called the Creative Bank Account. And the premise behind that is that you surround yourself with things that inspire you. Songs, writings, quotes, images, whatever that may be. Maybe it's a Pinterest board for you. Maybe it's like I have a Google Photos album that I follow, and I put all my happy things in there. I put songs in there. And so even just listening to a different song, a different genre, can be enough to kind of make you feel a little differently. And if you have to use the same space every time, what happens if you go into that space and do something you've never done before? So if you have to go in the same door, okay, well, you usually walk in and you go to this spot. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Do something totally different. Go walk somewhere else. Go sit down somewhere you've never sat. Go stand somewhere you've never been. Go get a step ladder and stand on the step ladder and look at the room in a new way. And even imagine yourself at different times in your life, or as different people, even as to how would you see that room differently. So it's all just kind of putting your mind into a creative place to allow yourself to bring a different energy into that space. If you had to go to the new space, now here's another one. Can you go to different spaces? So if that's the case, oh, dude, the sky's the limit. So now start making connections. Go to Facebook Marketplace, or, all those places, and go, look, I'm looking for a cool place to do this. And it's amazing how people will reach out. And there's like that, I forgot the name of it, but it's the group that it's like when you give, you want, that kind of group. And I've put stuff on there before. I'm like, hey, I need somewhere that I can take my dog to go search vehicles. Holy cow. I had over 100 people comment.
No way. Like, seriously, like I've posted things in my community, like I'm willing to pay.
Oh no, for free. They were begging me to come. I had 5 neighbors.
I get no responses. Everybody's like, it is radio silence.
Oh, but see, I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Missouri. So maybe.
Yeah, we have that whole Midwest nice thing.
Yeah.
And
we say, you betcha and open, that sort of thing. So, there's that. So I don't know, maybe those are some weird things, but just try to think of a different perspective and learning from others and watching others in other sports even. Yeah. Stand on your head. I don't know.
Sit down. I mean, walk into the space and just go sit down in a weird space. And something, depending on if you do have to use that space all the time, it may be as simple as rearranging how everything sits.
The other thing you could do, there's another idea. So we have there's this virtual walkthrough website, right? Where we we can actually see and preview all of our searches prior to trialing in NACSW. It's fabulous. You can go through. But the cool part about this is you can use it I use it as a training resource. I look at it, I get inspiration. What are they testing? What are they trying to get at with the hides? And you can use that, maybe get some ideas about maybe things that different types of hide setups that you haven't necessarily set for your class before. What are the things that you're seeing? Use that as kind of another way of.
That's a great idea. I love the behind the poster hides because I'd never really seen those before.
But I especially like when you said, both of you are talking about have your game plan for your 5 weeks, know what concepts you want to teach. And that immediately is going to give you the inspiration that you're going to need. So that's the basis right there. And I know you said in your question that you draw from your own experiences, so draw from others as well, like we've kind of mentioned. And you also said that you struggle to put together, you set a goal. So in the very beginning, make sure that goal is super clear for each of the 5 classes that you're going to have. So not just an overall goal for, I want to accomplish this within 5 weeks, but what am I going to do each week goal-wise? So like just reiterating what Stacy already said. Are you ready for the next question? That was a good one.
That was a good question.
Fresh and fun. All right. What is the best way to catch oneself cueing the dog when solo training?
1, 2, 3. Video. I thought maybe we'd all say it at one time.
Yes.
So
sorry, I
sorry.
dropped the ball.
I should have
I was still picturing a red Solo cup, so that was my problem. The Solo training, it got me.
Oh, okay. So
I'm so visual.
A video, and this is not even the strap it on your chest video like Stacy does. This is
the boob cam,
not the boob cam. Set the camera up in the corner so it can video your entire training session, preferably with you in the picture. I guess you're by yourself. So that little handy duty tripod, you can get a really nice one off of Amazon for $20. And if you are thoughtful on where you set your hide and thoughtful on where you set your camera, you can absolutely video your training session, says the person who primarily trains by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I video practically everything. My phone is about ready to explode. So I now have a GoPro, and I don't have a chest harness. My GoPro connects to my phone and I use it like hey, record here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do have a boob cam.
And for those people who put cameras on their dogs, I just want to let you know that I can never watch your videos because it makes me motion sick. Just letting you know.
So can I extend this question a little further?
Yes, please.
Instead of catching them self-cueing, can we back it up a little bit? What are ways that you can help yourself from cueing the dog? Do you have some tips that you offer? So you know where it is. What would you tell the person to do to help them not cue their dog?
I think about it as, this is from the way that I teach, the way I, from a handling perspective, is I always try to teach folks to release pressure. And so when the dog is starting to source, really watch out that you're not stepping in as the dog gets an odor, because that can trigger a lot of behaviors. And I see a lot of alerts off source that are caused by handlers stepping in or reaching into the bait pouch or reaching for their reinforcement before the dog is finished. So think about your sequence of activities there. And I'm always kind of thinking about releasing pressure anyway. Because as soon as you put pressure on the dog by stepping in, you're not only are you adding pressure, you're also adding communication.
The opposite happen if when they start to get to odor, you start to step away.
Yeah, you have to be careful. It's not a pre-cue. So you want it. So I think about it as pressure, not a 1-2 step, right? So you want to just really think about, are you setting pressure? I actually don't do a whole lot of movement. I just kind of try to handle in a way that I'm not moving in on the dog, especially as they're working.
And my response to that is the first mistake that I see with so many people is that they actually square up to odor.
Yeah.
Because what we do is that gives our full attention to our dogs. But if you actually draw out lines from your shoulder, you are now telling your dog where exactly they're supposed to search. So one of the very first things that I try and do in my training is to teach the dogs that my actual body orientation to what they are doing doesn't matter. So that's one thing. Absolutely, totally 100% agree with Stacy's whole, don't anticipate your dog doing their alert behavior or their trained final response behavior, because that will bite you on the other end. And you can
on the other end, you get it, bite you on the other end. Right?
That wasn't even meant to be funny.
I know. I'm like, oh, that was a funny. Okay.
That was a dad joke.
That was a dad joke.
Yes. And the whole concept of don't move, do move, the Lackland shuffle drives me crazy. Which is oh my gosh, as your dog is working and your dog is doing its trained final response, you have to do this little shuffle thing. I don't care. I should be able to stand on my head and do whatever I'm going to do. My dog's going to still drive into odor because that's what pays.
Yep.
And we'll include a video of Robin standing on her head in the Facebook.
So not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Come on.
Yeah. But I do have a video of Sheba ignoring a pigeon to continue.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Freaking awesome.
Okay. That was when I was teaching too. Sheba, I'm working with Sheba at the functional obedience class up at your place. And Paul the pigeon lands on my shoulder. Yes. In front of this group as I'm training Sheba. And Sheba looks at me like, well, that's fun. Okay. Keep going. I mean, was maybe a half a second of a blip and was like, okay. So we kept training with Paul on my shoulder.
Yes. and so, so it is just be conscious of those body movements, because guess what, people? Dogs have gone through thousands and thousands and thousands of years of selective breeding for the animals that pay the most attention to the humans get the most treats.
This is where my new hobby, right? My new hobby is agility, and I am such a new handler, and I'm working with Brava, right? And it's amazing how just a slight shift of my eye, and we've just lost it. And she's like, nope, not doing the backside there, nope, right? And I was taking a lesson and my instructor was like, well, where were you looking? And I'm like, well, he's like, you were looking at the wing. And I'm like, yeah. So he's like, you need to look a foot to the right. And I'm like, yeah. And it's amazing how just that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if our dogs would notice that and they're running. Yeah.
What do you think? And why do you think that a lot of the times they are either hyper vigilantly focused on us, or they pretty much think we don't know anything?
Probably both.
Yes. All at the same time.
So y'all are more experienced in the odor world than I am. One of the things I did with Yukon when I was first trying to see, because I was questioning myself, am I doing anything that's letting him have information? And so one of the things I do in IGP when I'm working on my long down is I hold my phone on selfie mode, and then I hold it up next to my shoulder so that I'm looking in my phone and I can see what's happening behind me. And so I would also do that to kind of see, okay, my back is to my dog. So if I'm looking in my phone, I can see what he's doing in my phone. He's not, he's in a safe space. And he indicated on odor, which for him, his trained final response is a down. And so I was able to mark that with my back still facing him and then be able to reward that. So I don't think that there's any way that I was at all indicating where any of that could have been. So that's also just a little test you could possibly do if that's something that could work for you and your dog, if you're not like on a leash or whatever.
Yes.
So just kind of think about other ways that you can. I also would just give myself little things where, okay, this time we're going to go in and I'm going to take 5 steps to the right, 5 steps to the left, 10 steps forward. Like I had I don't care what the dog is doing. This is what I'm going to do. So because I already had this like little dance routine in my head of where I was going to walk, and not dancing, but
you were waltzing.
Was not. But then it made sure that no matter what my dog was doing, I'm going to watch my dog and I can be full attention there. But I knew that when I got to this oil pan, I was going to make a right hand turn. And so it just took the pressure off of myself to be aware of if I was too close to the dog or too far from the dog. I already had it prescribed in my head what I was going to do. So I don't know, maybe those are some things just to test yourself a little to see if you're doing something. Because if you start sensing that you're like, ooh, I want to start moving over there, you're probably not helping your dog is what you're not doing.
One of the other things that I've done to handlers is I've told them, okay, here's the room that you have to search with your dog. You cannot go past XYZ point.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking too, like gambler.
Yeah. And so it actually teaches you a whole lot about what your dog's bubble is, how far it will search away from you, and all of those sorts of things. And so if you have that, think about, when you set it up, okay, I can't walk past XYZ point. I can't do this, and all of those sorts of things. So not only are you trying to be conscious about your odor placement, but you're also choreographing searching your physical presence in the room for your dog.
And these are all suggestions with different levels of experience for you and your dog. These
Agreed.
are not things that we want you to go out and test your dog tomorrow and try these things. It's only if your dog is capable, of allowing you to do these things. This is all part of teaching and training. So don't all of a sudden go put your back to your dog when you've never done that before. And train, don't test.
More training. Yes.
Yeah. Are you ready for the next question? We've only got time for one more at most.
Okay.
Yes. For one more?
Yes.
Yeah. One more. Let's do it. We got this. Okay. Last one. Okay. Do you have any tips for training AKC Buried Hides? We have been successful at everything except buried.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's everybody's always talking about. What about buried?
Stacy, for those of us who don't know,
oh yeah,
can you give us the parameters?
Because it's way different for search and rescue.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah.
This is not me going out with you, Crystal, to bury a foot.
Yeah, that was fun.
I was like, I know where you bury the bodies, but anyway, bodies buried. Like that was so
got a good
amazing.
Workout for that one though.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of sat back and I'm like, back, like, But anyway, that was
back
like
excuse.
a whole like buried like a foot down, and I'm like, you can't even see. It's amazing.
Okay, put on
anyway
a foot down.
Ha ha ha.
It was a foot down.
So, the buried, and the reason why they do this is a couple things. They need to be able to repeat. This is buried like AKC competition. It needs to be a repetitive.
Yeah, it's replicatable across the United States.
Replicatable. Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Yeah, that you can replicate these setups across the country in different climates, et cetera, right? And that has to be where it starts out kind of a little bit easier and it gets a little harder. Back when AKC first started, we would actually put stuff in the ground, but there's also, we also have to worry about pathogens and stuff like that in parts of parts of the country. And honestly, these are sport dogs. We don't need to be subjecting our dog to things like valley fever in some parts of the country for sport, right?
That's okay.
Why?
Yeah,
exactly. So anyway, backstory. That's all the backstory. So now what you have are containers full of either sand or water. Now, granted, water is not really buried, it's more submerged. So you have some submerged and then you have some buried in sand. And as you move up the levels, you may have sand and or water, and you may have unknown number of hides.
You do know sand is really hard.
Well, it's play sand. We use it's standardized.
It's still hard. Sand is hard.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It is.
Okay.
It's also large odor.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point. Okay.
And depending upon the temperature, if it heats up, if it's in the sun.
Yeah.
Right. And you have grates on top of the container. So the dog can't even get their nose down to the level of the substrate.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more complicated even then, because then you can have a neighboring container that has trapped odor from the hot container right next to it.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So it's complicated. It's a very complicated element. So I found, and it was amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of avoided training it for a long time because it's a pain to set up. And then I went to regionals, and it turns out my dog, who I turned out to be because I really trained really hard on plain old containers and sourcing. I've done both of those types of training with her. Turns out she's an amazing buried dog now. So,
because I was just thinking that you guys can't see me, but I was having the up and to the right
with the eyeballs.
with the eyeballs, because I was thinking, I was like, it sounds like a systematic search on containers.
Mm-hmm. It is
what you're doing.
Sort of, yeah. But to get the container accurate, your dog really needs to understand source in a container, number one.
Right.
And meaning not just nearby odor, but that it's actually resident. Number two, the dog needs to really understand sourcing. So I would be focusing on building sourcing capability and building container capability. And I'm, and I've talked about this exercise before, that I do like these, literature mailers. I tent them and I'm blowing hot air, like, hot odor into cold boxes. I do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Because what that does is it teaches my dog what what
No
hot
odor
really
pools.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, to work through the odor pools, exactly. And that actually, I did all that, and it turned out my dog was an incredible buried dog, and she had never been before I did all that training. Before I was like, I'm just so glad we're done with master buried. Like I never want to do it again. And I know a lot of people share that sentiment, and I'm like, nope, 3 cues done, right? But now I'm like, oh yeah, master buried 42 seconds, whatever, out of 4 or 5 minutes, whatever that's allowed. I mean, it literally took us 42 seconds to clear it.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, sourcing and understanding of source and containers, those 2 pieces, boom.
Interesting. Okay. So, because I want to know these things, how much odor did they put in the sand? Like one?
The 2 drops of oil on a Q-tip, and it's a lot of odor. And what they do is they put that hide in a T-ball. So you get diffusion from the Q-tip.
We use T-balls for teeth.
For tea?
Teeth. You put
teeth. I'm like, everybody
uses
T-balls for tea.
No, teeth. You put your teeth in your T-ball because then the dog can't really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we use T-balls.
Now wait, so T-ball like a plastic wiffle ball T-ball?
No.
Like submergible, like you make tea.
Like loose leaf tea. Yeah.
Loose leaf tea.
Loose leaf tea. You put, yes.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear. I actually knew the answer, but I just wanted to make sure it was clear.
Well, you have to really search Walmart to find them anymore because,
Because I didn't want somebody looking up for a T-ball and they go and buy some wiffle balls.
Wiffle balls. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazon. And the hard part about buried in water, which is not really buried, it's submerged. But
it's under a surface. Okay.
It is, and it dissolves. The oils basically they dissolve into the water. I think I'm using the wrong technical term.
They dilute.
Thank you. But the problem is that because it's a container, and because of water tension, and because oil floats, you end up with oil all around the inside edge of that water line. It gets really complicated.
That would be hard.
It is. It's not easy. Mm-hmm.
No.
So anyway, if you're struggling with AKC buried, it's tough. But if you work on those 2 things, sourcing and understanding of source, it will help.
Fantastic.
Oh, you know what? I have one more question. No, I said I was done. I have one more.
Okay.
You're not allowed.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it awkward.
Kidding.
What are your final thoughts today?
Oh, that wasn't one of our questions.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
No lumpy McLumpersons. Everything we talked about, most of what we talked about here today was slicing things down to very specific training goals instead of trying to ask your learner to make those magic automatic jumps. And also when they fail at something, use that as a learning opportunity for them and thank them for giving you the information.
I don't even have anything good to follow that. That's just amazing and exactly what I was thinking.
I kind of want to use the Golden Girls theme song, that thank you for being a friend. It's like, thank you for the information.
Sure, we could come up with some entertaining jingle for that, which would scare people.
The song about red Solo cups,
Yeah. All right.
Gosh. So I'm going to go back to the distraction one. That was my thing.
Yes.
And it really is about simplifying and slicing it down. I do think that everything that we've discussed today is about, if we run into problems, it really is about going back, and not even back to, but teaching foundation.
Yep.
So it's the building blocks that we need to reinforce and recognize where the holes are so that we can go, oh, that was the information. And now this is the skill that maybe I didn't teach or I need to teach now, that I can build really fast because I already have all these other things going. Go, Stacy, go. You got it.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, I saw
jazz fingers.
I know. And I'm like, I do have a takeaway. What looks simple may not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You betcha.
What looks simple may not be. Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why people let me go and search their cars.
Whoop. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, may not be.
I enjoy
Okay.
you guys so much.
Thanks
Oh my
everybody for joining us for this, I'm sure, hopefully entertaining episode.
Jeez. Why do they even listen to us?
I know.
I don't even know.
We do still have some questions left that we didn't make it through.
Oh,
So,
no.
so we're gonna we still got them cataloged. We're turning them different colors on a spreadsheet. So
We actually are.
we are.
Thanks to Robin.
And Crystal, yes. So
About the spectrum.
make sure to go out to the website, sign up for the freebies, and keep tabs on the Facebook page. And we
Come to Distraction Camp this summer. It's going to be great.
that would be fun. Look forward, probably in the next couple weeks, probably early November, we'll be releasing the calendar for next year, which will have all those dates on it. So thanks everybody, and have a great training day. Goodbye.
Bye.
Canine Detection Collaborative! We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to k9detectioncollaborative.com. That's K9detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.